We're going to roll right into our next media availability. We're joined now by Kyle Busch, driver of the number 18 Interstate Batteries Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. Kyle, you come into Dover facing a lot of pressure to make the next round of the chase, but your whole season has been filled with pressure. Talk about how that has prepared you for this weekend.
Yeah, I think that's, just sort of our name of what our season's been is just, win and make enough points in order to get ourselves to transfer through. So that's to transfer into the chase and actually become chase eligible. So, that's no different than what we got to do right now. Essentially, we've just got to make sure that we do what we've always done here in Dover, and that's to run strong, run up front, and, collect a good finish here. And, hopefully the points will take care of themselves.
Deal. We'll open the floor to questions. If you have a question for Kyle, please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless microphone to you. They'll start with Jeff.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. Kyle, you've had so much bad stuff happen to you in the chase over the years, and it's not usually of your own doing in some cases. Last week when that happened, were you thinking to yourself, here we go again, I can't believe this, or what was going through your mind at that point?
Those thoughts probably didn't actually happen till the race was over. But yeah, I mean, it's September, October, or November, right? So that typically is the time of the season in which something seems to happen to myself. Not sure why, but it is what it is. So this is the time of year though that you got to have everything kind of go your way and everything go right, and to blow a right front tire 23 laps into a run, that just doesn't make any sense. That just has absolutely nothing to do with over camber or over using the brakes or melting a bead or anything like that. You can't blow one that fast. So, but we can. Or I can. So, it was a bummer deal, but puts us in a position now where we got to fight through this round, and it's no different than any other year. You've always got to fight through the chase, and there's been no give up in this 18 all year long, and there's none right now. So we're just going to power on through and do what we need to do this weekend to get to the next round.
How do you approach each week then, knowing that you can do everything right and something bizarre can happen? I mean, do you always just try to just hope that it doesn't happen? I mean, so many things have happened over the years that it's just like, how do you get rid of that? How do you shed that, I guess?
You don't. I mean, you just go into each weekend just knowing that you've got to do your job, and as long as you do your job, hopefully everything aligns right and you move on. But in years past, I don't know that it's necessarily been a particular track or a particular moment that's knocked us out of the chase before. It doesn't happen the same spot every single year. It happens all over the place. Was Martinsville one year, it was Kansas one year, it was Charlotte another year, it was Talladega last year, and right now it seems to be Loudon this year. It just never ends. So it's just a matter of trying to get through those bad moments and get on to the next week.
Go next to Jonathan.
Jonathan Merriman, NASCAR.com. Kyle, do you kind of use what happened to you earlier in the year, having everybody else have an 11 race head start, you guys kind of having to catch up? Do you look at that over the week and look at the point standings now and say, I'm 1 point out, I've had to face bigger mountains than this year, we can get in and we can do this? Do you look back on that and reflect on this situation now?
I think the biggest thing is just you can look back on that a little bit, but this time of year is different. This time of year is where everybody starts to come out and show exactly what they're worth and what they are, and how much they want to win this championship. So, the beginning part of the year, we were racing a completely different group of guys than what we're racing right now. We were racing David Gilliland and Cole Witt and Allgaier, whoever all was around that 30th place. Now we're racing the top 10, 12, 16 best drivers in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. So it's a completely different realm of things. We got to come into Dover here this weekend and concentrate on beating Paul Menard, Dale Jr., and Jamie McMurray. Those are some guys that have run really well this year and have been stout this year and are competitive. So that's why it's not necessarily just going to be an easy slide on through for us at Dover, but we hope that we run well here like we have in the past, and things will take care of themselves.
Go next to Jim and then to Dustin.
JimMutterMotorsport.com. This question was kind of also asked to Jimmy Johnson along the same lines as you just mentioned. Having run well here recently with looks like no track activity before the race, do you feel pretty good coming into this race as far as preparation-wise, maybe compared to others who don't usually perform that well here or tend to need practice time to get tuned up?
Yeah, I think for my guys, we've been really, really good this year of unloading and having some strong cars and some good speed right off the truck. So I'd actually look forward to no practice time here. I think that would be really good for the 18 team. But, whether that happens or not, who knows? Too early to tell, I think, right now. But, either way, whether we practice or not, we'll be ready. We'll be prepared. And, we won't start as far forward as we have here in years past. Typically, we're a top 5 qualifier. So I think we'll have to start wherever we are in points, which is 14th, 15th, whatever it is. So we'll make do.
Go next to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. I had a couple questions. One, Kyle, with the change in the restart zone, how does that help things, and how does that create potential more issues from your point of view?
Well, I think it helps things with the advantage maybe going back slightly towards the leader again. Obviously when you're the leader, you want to have that advantage. You're the one that is the leader. You're the one that's in that position, so you should have the advantage. But with the restart zones and rules the way that they were, the leader was at the biggest disadvantage. Everybody would lay back a little bit, and then they'd start their momentum and roll up on the leader once they got closer to the zone, and they would start to time their momentum. They would want to have a little bit more roll going than the leader would, and in doing that, guys would start going early and essentially pin the leader in a negative spot. So I think now having a wider zone and NASCAR policing if they police the roll up, which they did on Brad last week. I think they failed the week before, but you can't go back and fix those things, so hopefully they can continue to fix the things going forward. But besides the restart zone being opened up, which I think was a good thing, I think the only other thing to do is just make a rule that says the second place car cannot beat the leader to the single red mark. That seems to be where most of the problems start to come up, is when that second place guy starts to roll on the leader a little bit, and the leader wants to wait for, like in my instance with Gordon at Chicago, when he started rolling up on me, I'm like, okay, fine, I'm going to wait until you got to check up, and I'll go at the single red mark. Well, when Gordon's nose was ahead of my nose and he got to the single red mark, he just went because he knew he needed to go. I mean, that's the second place guy starting the restart. You can't have that. So I think you've got to make a rule where that second place guy's got to stay behind, the leader through the single red mark.
This week, NASCAR talked about having conversations more so with the owners about Sprint Cup owners about having equity in those teams and creating more value. Obviously, as a truck series owner, and you've had the experience also in the Xfinity series, how important is it to have something like that? Is that something that you guys are a part of, or is that something that's probably going to trickle down in a couple years? And if so, what do you have to do in the next year or two while you're waiting for that to happen as an owner and a business person?
Well, I don't know exactly all the specifics of what's going on with the owners' meetings and all that stuff, so I can't comment to what all is going to happen or what's coming down the pipeline. All I know is, it is one of the tougher spots to be in as an owner, especially in the truck series, I feel. To continue to have a successful operation, to keep people employed and to keep people there. You don't have the money to spend as well as you do in Cup or Xfinity to keep good people in your place. But, I feel like Joe Gibbs Racing is one of the best teams in the business. I'm happy to be where I'm at, and I'm glad that this stuff seems to be going down in a better place for NASCAR and for Joe Gibbs because, with JD's illness that's come down, this is all the Gibbs family has. Their race team is what they strive on and what they live for. So I'm thankful that they're a part of NASCAR and doing what they do and keeping the 500 plus strong, all of us employed at JGR.
Go next to Lee.
To kind of follow up on that, does that give you like some sort of hope that when your driving career, whenever that day is down the road, and you want to be, you want to expand your ownership, that you'll have something when the day comes that you know that your teams will be worth something, as opposed to just getting pennies on the dollar like Bill Elliott and Ricky Rudd did?
Yeah, no doubt. I definitely feel that to have some sort of value is certainly a heck of a lot better to be able to sell something when you're all said and done, rather than selling beat up tractors and trailers. Your equipment essentially is outdated every 4 months, so your cars are junk. You've got toolboxes and stuff, equipment around the shop, stuff like that, property within the building that you have. So, certainly to have some sort of stake. I've heard the word medallion used. I don't know exactly what's going on, but to have some sort of higher stake that you can sell, or to have to sell, obviously makes it a little bit more worth being an owner and being involved in our sport, for sure.
On the back to the restarts for a second, and you're one of the top guys when it comes to doing restarts, and when you think about what type of an advantage competitors can gain from restarts, it's one of the places within the course of the race at this point where you can pick up tenths, seconds, whatever. How important is it to make that situation equitable across the board for the field?
I don't think it should ever be exactly equal for everybody. I think the restarts should always have more advantage trended towards the leader. I think if you're the leader, you're the leader for a reason. This business isn't easy. Being the leader, you should have a little bit of advantage over the rest of the guys. And I think the biggest thing is just NASCAR making sure that that they watch the roll. The people rolling up on other people, and again, I feel as though the second place guy can't beat the leader to the first mark, the end of the restart zone. Doesn't matter about the start finish line. Who cares about that? It's the restart zone. I feel like the leader should always be ahead.
Well, Kyle, we really appreciate you taking the time to come in here today, and stay
Thanks.
dry.
No problem.